So this is a review of the vintage Rolex Field Guide book. This one. So one thing I wanted to start with even before I received this book. So one area of vintage Rolex that I'm interested in is Rolex bubble bags. Mostly because like nobody cares about them, and I do. So, you know, so I thought, okay, so let me test this book on Rolex bubble bags, right? I wanted to discover more about them. I wanted to discover how to figure out which bubble bag is fake and which one is not, wrong parts, kind of authenticity issues, all these things. So let's see what I found out. So what I did is, so I went straight to the section about bubble bags. So let's go there. Okay, so this is this. Basically, there is some good information about bubble bags, and there are tables. Right, so this is and tables. This is great, and that's it. Right, so this is something kind of a big thing that you should know about this book. So this book is not for somebody who expects a lot of pretty pictures right? This book is not for somebody who wants to discover watches that they don't know about. So for example, I like bubble bags in general, but I would love to discover like these specific models or references that I like, and so I can kind of start looking into maybe like acquiring them, or maybe at least like looking more about them. Like this book doesn't give it to me, right? Like there are tables, right? These tables are great, actually. They document like every single reference of bubble bags. They give you a bunch of very useful information about them. But before I actually can use this book, then I actually need to know that, hey, I'm interested in reference 31337, yellow gold. That's the one I'm interested in, right? But before I know it, I can't use this book to discover stuff that I do not know. So that's if you are looking for pretty pictures, if you're looking to admire the wonderful patina or whatever, that's not a book for you. This book is more kind of like if you look at my how to buy vintage Grand Seiko guide, that's exactly what this book is. This book will help you to, so if you want to buy a specific Rolex model or reference, right? And you want to make sure that everything is correct in that Rolex, all parts are not fake, like everything is what it should be, all references match, then this book is for you, and it's good. But yeah, this is not a book for somebody who wants a lot of cool pictures. So this is one thing. Another thing, so I'm gonna go through kind of like common themes in this book based on Rolex bubble bags. So if you look at these tables, I mean, they are great, right? But some information is missing. So for example, if we look at this, so this watch was made between 1939 and 1950, right? Great. What about these watches, right? Nothing, right? What about size, right? Nothing, right? What about, so it says that this watch is mid-size. What does it mean? So he talks a little bit there, but it would be more useful like for me or like ladies. Okay, ladies I'm not interested in, but about mid-size, is it like 32 millimeters, 34, 30, like 33, like I want to know, right? So I feel like it's just like from the place where the author took this information from, like the information wasn't there, right? And building all this data for every single reference, this is just monumental task. But keep in mind that even if there are these like wonderful tables, they are like amazing, right? The information is still missing in these tables, so you would have to dig it on your own. Another thing, also let's use bubblebacks as an example, right? So this book gives you a lot of very super useful information, and usually the information is more than just like 2 pages. Like if you look at like Rolex Explorer, Submariner, it's much more, but the information is not going deep enough, right? So that's a very good start, but it doesn't go deep. And so for example, because it doesn't have pictures of Rolex bubblebacks, right? So for example, let's say I'm interested like in this reference, right? I need to be able to get the exact high resolution picture of the dial of this watch, and that picture is missing, right? So I would need to go search online, find some like untrusted sources, compared. So there is still a lot of work that I need to do on my own because the information is not here. Or for example, he's talking here about California dials, right? So there are a lot of bubblebacks that have legit California dials, but he also talks about that there was this guy in California who did a lot of redials because people liked California dials. So he took a legit dial and he made it California dial, right? Even provides his name. But the author does not include information, so how do I know which dial is legit, authentic California dial made by Rolex, and which one is a dial made by this guy? Yeah, so great information about bubblebacks, super useful tables, just like amazing tables, but both tables and information, they don't go deep enough. Now, yeah, let's take a look at this book kind of overall. So it starts with talking about authenticity and checking for fake things in general. It's really good. Now he goes into kind of one by one about serial numbers, about what you need to check to see if the case is authentic. That's what this case back stamps was one of these things. Hallmarks, dial. He talks a lot about dial, but again, no pictures of dials. Hands, very good information about hands. So all this information is very good and very useful. Crowns, correct crystals. Also, he has what I was actually really pleased with. He also talks about authenticity of bracelets and end links, and he provides reference tables, which is very useful and good. He talks about movements, and again, movements, unfortunately, it's just tables and some like information in text. So like if I would want to have high quality, high res pictures, like one thing I would want to have pictures of the movements, because that's the thing which is the hardest to fake. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have this in this book. But yeah, this information is super useful. So basically, you are checking this, after that, after this, and yeah, that's your guide how to figure out authenticity of your watch, and if it has anything fake there. Oh yeah, so he talks about these things kind of one by one, and after that he goes into the specific models, for example, submariners, like sea dwellers. Book talks about oyster quartz, which is also very important, and book talks a little bit about mill subs, but it's just like briefly. It has some information, but if you buy mill sub, that's probably not a like you want to get more information than just this book. So let's look more into I'm just gonna show you briefly submariners. So see, there is like a lot of information about submariners. Then I mean there are some pictures, but it's more there are also like these. So here it's actually a photograph of the part of the dial. So this one will be definitely correct. That's not a vector picture. And so on. Talks about different references, a little bit about Millsaps. So and very good tables about submariners. Okay, summarizing. So if you want to discover new watches, new Rolex watches, or you want to admire the beauty of the Rolex watches, right? This book is not for you. This book is more for the person who wants to figure out if the watch is fake or not, if everything is authentic in the watch. So this book is very good book for, right? The only thing is that this book a little bit doesn't go deep enough, so you will use this book as a start, and after that you probably would need to figure out the exact details about the watch on your own. But still, like for the person like me, like this is like amazing start. And then after I figure out the specific watch I'm looking for, I will know. For example, things like, oh, I want to look into the dial a little bit deeper, I want to look into the bracelet a little bit deeper, and things like that. And now I received this book for free. I did not pay for this book, so Morning Tundra sent it to me for free, so I would do the review. So that's the review. Now, this book cost $45. Do I think it's worth $45? Absolutely. So if you collect vintage, Rolex, or you even like consider vintage Rolex, like definitely that like pay $45. Like he actually did so much work. He put so much work into this. It's definitely worth $45. I also have a discount code. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, then find this video on YouTube, but in my YouTube video in comments there is the discount code. You're gonna get something like 10% off or something, so you will pay even less. So that's the review of vintage Rolex Field Guide. If you enjoyed this video or you like vintage watches, you probably should consider clicking somewhere here on my face, and you should check out my other videos. I have a lot of videos about vintage watches, and you should probably subscribe because I'm gonna be making more and more of them. Okay, thank you, bye.